We hear it all the time. My labs are normal, I'm eating right, I exercise, but I just don't feel vibrant. That sort of underlying fatigue, maybe brain fog, aches, things that just defy a clear diagnosis.
Yeah, it's a really common disconnect. So many people feel it.
And Dr. Casey Means argues it's not just in your head, it's actually deep within your cells.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into Dr. Casey Means' really groundbreaking book, Good Energy, the surprising connection between metabolism and limitless health.
That's right. And our mission here really is to unpack her, well, frankly, radical premise.
It is pretty radical.
Yeah, that so many chronic conditions we think of as separate, anxiety, depression, diabetes, heart disease, even Alzheimer's, they might actually share a single root cause.
Wow.
It's not just bad luck or isolated problems. She calls it bad energy, basically metabolic dysfunction.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is kind of a shortcut to understanding why, so many of us feel chronically sick and tired. And crucially, what we can actually do about it. How to really transform our vitality.
And that's what feels so hopeful about it, right? It's not just about what to do, but really understanding why it matters, why it's key for transforming your health, your energy, maybe even your sense of purpose.
Absolutely. Moving from just getting by to actually thriving.
We want to show you how you can move from feeling drained to, well, cultivating what she calls limitless health by working with your body's energy systems. So let's get into the problem she identifies first.
Okay, so Dr. Means kicks off Good Energy with some statistics there. Well, they're pretty jarring.
Yeah.
Only about 12.2% of American adults are considered metabolically healthy.
12%. That's incredibly low.
It is. Think about that. Over 87% of us, and some studies, depending on the criteria, push that up towards like 93% are walking around with cells that are struggling to produce energy efficiently.
Wow. 93% potentially.
Yeah. It sounds less like, individual failings and more like a systemic issue, doesn't it?
It really does. A crisis almost. So from her perspective, what does that statistic really tell us about our health?
It's a huge wake-up call. It means our bodies are basically in an energy crisis at the cellular level.
Okay, so when she talks about metabolic health, what does she mean exactly?
She's talking about that incredibly complex, vital process where our bodies take the food we eat and the oxygen we breathe and turn it into energy, specifically ATP adenosine triphosphate.
Right, ADP, that's the fuel for everything.
Exactly. It's the universal energy currency our 37 trillion cells use for absolutely everything. Thinking, moving, fighting infection, just keeping your heart beating, all of it needs ATP.
37 trillion cells. Yeah. It's mind-boggling.
It is. And this whole energy production show is largely run by our mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside our cells.
That's right, mitochondria, right.
So when that process starts to falter, that's when you get what Dr. Means calls bad energy.
And that's not just feeling a bit tired.
No, not at all. It's much deeper. It's a systemic breakdown. It shows up as that deep fatigue, yes, but also chronic inflammation and a way higher risk for all sorts of chronic diseases.
Okay.
She talks about this trifecta of bad energy. Mitochondrial dysfunction, chronic inflammation, and oxidative stress.
The trifecta.
Yeah. And the really critical thing is these three aren't separate issues. They actually feed off each other. It becomes this vicious cycle that just drains our cells and makes us vulnerable.
So why? Why is this happening on such a massive scale? What's causing this bad energy cycle?
Well, as Dr. Means lays out pretty meticulously, it's deeply rooted in our modern way of life. It's like a perfect storm for our metabolism.
A perfect storm? Like what?
Think about it. The sheer amount of ultra-processed food everywhere, our sedentary habits sitting all day, the constant unrelenting stress, then there's exposure to environmental toxins, the artificial light messing with our body clocks, and of course just widespread lack of good sleep.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Any one of those is disruptive. Put them all together. It's chaos for our cells.
And she also points a finger at the healthcare system itself.
Right.
As contributing to this.
Absolutely. That's a major piece she discusses, our fragmented, sort of siloed healthcare system.
Siloed, meaning?
Meaning it's brilliant for acute problems like a broken leg or a bacterial infection, right? Modern medicine is amazing there.
Sure.
But it often falls short with chronic diseases because it's set up to treat isolated symptoms. You get a pill for this ache, a procedure for that inflammation.
Without necessarily connecting the dots.
Exactly. It often doesn't address the underlying interconnected root cause that might be driving multiple issues at once.
She shares some really powerful patient stories illustrating that, doesn't she?
She does. There's Sarah, 36 years old. Debilitating migraines, chronic arthritis, severe depression.
Wow.
She'd seen 8 different specialists in just 1 year, had this huge 100-page medical chart. Everyone offered a pill or a plan, but nothing really worked long term.
Just managing symptoms.
Pretty much. Or Sophia, 52, dealing with chronic sinusitis and prediabetes. The system treated them as totally separate things. No one linked them to the underlying inflammation and metabolic dysfunction driving both.
And seeing patients like that was part of Dr. Means's own kind of awakening, wasn't it? Her
Yeah.
shift away from surgery.
Yeah, a huge part. She was a Stanford-trained ENT surgeon doing surgeries for inflammation all the time. Sinusitis, tonsillitis, otitis. Anything ending in itis means swelling, right?
Right. Inflammation.
But she started realizing she was just dealing with the downstream effects, never getting to the why. She describes this moment, this real breaking point, where she thought, I cannot cut into another patient until I understand why they are sick.
That's a huge realization for a surgeon.
Massive. And it led her to leave this incredibly successful surgical career to dig deeper into root causes.
And then there was the personal connection, too, with her mother.
Yes, deeply personal. Her mother passed away prematurely from pancreatic cancer. And looking back, Dr. Means connects it to decades of unaddressed metabolic dysfunction.
Even though she was seeing doctors.
Yeah, seeing numerous specialists, taking meds for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, prediabetes. But it was all kind of dismissed as, normal for her age. No one connected that metabolic thread.
Oh, tragic.
It really reinforced Dr. Means's belief that this isn't just bad luck. It's a broken system, often profiting from managing chronic illness rather than fostering real health.
Which is a powerful indictment, but it also leads us towards the solution, doesn't it?
It does. That's the crucial next step.
Okay, so we've talked about the problem, this widespread cellular energy crisis, this bad energy. But the great thing about the book, Good Energy, is it doesn't just leave us there. It gives us a blueprint.
Exactly. A blueprint for flipping the script, moving from that bad energy state to cultivating good energy.
So how do we do that? What's the core of her solution?
It's about making an energy-centric shift, focusing squarely on optimizing cellular energy by giving our bodies the right inputs, the right signals. She identifies 7 key areas in our environment, things we interact with daily that constantly tell our cells how to function. They all matter, but let's dig into some of the really big ones, starting with maybe the most obvious. Food.
Right. Food. And the principle she lays out here really struck me. Food determines the structure and function of our cells and microbiome.
Yeah.
It's not just fuel. It's instructions. It's building blocks. Like we're literally 3D printing ourselves out of food with every bite.
That's such a great way to put it. It really emphasizes that every bite sends a direct message to your cells.
So based on that, what are her key principles for eating for good energy?
Okay, she distills it down to 6 main actionable principles. First, eat whole, unprocessed foods.
Seems basic, but maybe harder than it sounds.
It can be. She challenges us to really look at how processed, even healthy packaged foods are, and how that changes their energetic signal. Second, prioritize protein and healthy fats.
That's a shift from older advice.
Big shift. Protein gives us building blocks and keeps us full. Healthy fats are crucial for hormones, brain health stuff, the low-fat craze ignored. Third, ditch the refined carbs and added sugars.
The obvious culprits.
Right. She even points out things like red 40 dye in, say, Cheetos, calling it neurotoxic, directly harmful to brain cells, sending these chaotic signals.
Wow. So it's more than just empty calories. It's like sending bad code to your cells.
Exactly. It's a biological instruction set. Fourth principle, be mindful of when you eat. Avoid constant snacking.
Why is that so important?
The average American eats over a 15-hour window each day, like 11 separate eating times. Eating is a major daytime signal for our cells, so constant eating confuses our biology.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Fifth, pair any carbs you eat with fiber, fat, or protein.
Right.
This helps stabilize blood sugar, avoiding those energy spikes and crashes. Simple, but powerful.
Good tip.
And finally, sixth, really listen to your body's unique signals. Develop that metabolic awareness. How does this food actually make you feel?
And practically speaking, she suggests building meals around 5 key elements.
Yeah, this is super helpful. For every meal, aim for a healthy protein source, an omega-3 source, like fish or flax, an antioxidant source, berries, leafy greens, a fiber source, veggies, seeds, and a probiotic source, fermented foods.
Protein, omega-3, antioxidant, fiber, probiotic. Got it.
That covers a lot of nutritional basis for the cells.
It really does. Gives them what they need to function well.
Okay, now, something I found incredibly fascinating, maybe because I hadn't thought about it this deeply, was her section on light in our circadian rhythms.
Oh yeah, this part is mind-blowing.
She says humans are diurnal organisms, meaning our biology is designed for different modes during day and night, right?
Exactly. Daytime is for being active, digesting, making energy. Nighttime is for repair, rest, deep cleaning, basically. It's a fundamental rhythm.
So where's the problem in modern life?
Artificial light. Think about it. The light bulb is relatively new, maybe early 1800s, but the blue light screens we stare at constantly, they're barely 15 years old. It's a blip in evolutionary time.
Tiny. Yet this constant artificial light creates what she calls mass cellular confusion. Our bodies basically think it's daytime all the time.
How does light even signal that?
It's not just about seeing. Photons, light particles, hit cells in our retinas and even on our skin. This sends signals directly to our brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus.
Okay.
That clock then tells all our other cells what time it is, setting our entire biology for the day or night. Constant artificial light completely disrupts the signaling.
And we get way less natural light than we used to, right?
Astonishingly less. The average American spends something like 93% of their time indoors now.
93%.
Yeah. Indoors, we might get less than 100 lux of light intensity. Outdoors, on a sunny day, it can be over 100,000 lux. Even sitting by a bright window blocks a lot of the crucial light spectrums our bodies need.
So our cells are basically starved for proper light signals.
Pretty much. And the effects are measurable. There's research showing people who spend more time outdoors tend to have lower BMI and lower risk of metabolic disease.
Even if they don't exercise more.
Yeah, even controlling for physical activity. It suggests there's something about the light exposure itself that's metabolically protective.
That's fascinating. So what's the actionable advice here? Just go outside more.
Basically, yes. But get creative about it. She suggests moving activities you normally do sitting inside, outdoors.
Huh.
Drink your morning coffee outside. Chop your veggies on the patio. Take your first work call while walking outside.
Small shifts, big impact potentially, like resetting your cellular clock.
Exactly. It's kind of a revolutionary act in our indoor world.
Okay, what about sleep? We know it's important, but how does it tie into good energy specifically?
Sleep is absolutely fundamental. It's like a superpower for your cells. Getting that solid 7 to 9 hours consistently, that's when your mitochondria get reset and repaired.
The powerhouses get recharged.
Totally. Sleep also balances key hormones like insulin, which regulates blood sugar, and ghrelin, which controls hunger. She stresses consistency too. Same bedtime, same wake time, even for adults.
Why is consistency so key?
Because even one night of bad sleep throws things off immediately. Studies show it negatively impacts your blood sugar control the very next day, making your cells more resistant to insulin.
Wow, that fast.
Yeah. Your body uses sleep as its dedicated repair shop. If you cut that short, things start breaking down metabolically.
Makes sense. Now, movement. We've shifted from like constant ancestral movement to maybe just an hour at the gym, if that. How does she view movement?
She emphasizes that consistent, gentle movement throughout the day is often more impactful for metabolic health than just infrequent, intense bursts.
So not just about exercise sessions.
Right. It's about avoiding being sedentary for long stretches. That constant motion signals metabolic flexibility to your cells. Aiming for 7,000 or 8,000 steps a day is a good baseline.
And she mentioned under-desk treadmills.
Yeah, interestingly, studies show even walking slowly, like 1 mile per hour on an under-desk treadmill while working, can lead to fat loss and gains in lean muscle mass over time.
So just integrating more movement however you can.
Exactly. Make it part of your day, not a separate chore.
Okay, so we've covered food, light, sleep, movement. What about emotional health and stress? That feels a bit less tangible, but she connects it directly to cellular energy, right?
Absolutely. This is crucial. She explains that our mitochondria don't just make energy, they also sense threat. They act like a cellular motherboard, deciding where to allocate resources.
A motherboard. Okay.
If they perceive danger, whether it's a physical threat or chronic emotional stress, they shift energy away from growth, repair, and thriving, and towards defense and inflammation.
So stress literally tells your cells to go into defense mode.
Precisely. It creates what she calls biochemical fear, which physically changes how your cells operate, prioritizing immediate survival over long-term health.
And what are these modern fear triggers she identifies?
They're everywhere. The constant barrage from digital media, she calls it digital terrorism, streaming fear and anxiety 24/7.
Oof. Digital terrorism, that's strong.
It is. Also, unhealed trauma from the past, social isolation, which feels like a threat to our biology, and even this sort of unique Western fear of mortality. All these things keep us in that biochemical fear state.
Diverting resources away from health and repair.
Exactly. And she offers a really interesting, almost poetic antidote, seeking awe in nature.
How does that help?
Experiencing awe fosters feelings of gratitude, connection, and safety. That feeling of safety directly signals to your cells that it's okay to shift energy back towards repair and thriving. It counters the fear signal. She puts it beautifully. We are made of sunlight. Connecting back to nature helps us remember that.
That's a lovely thought. We are made of sunlight. So
Okay.
the message is really empowering. Your body holds the answers, and you can learn to listen.
Totally. It's about empowerment. And that's where tracking comes in, using tools to understand those whispers from your body.
Right, the biomarkers,
Yeah.
or metabolic map.
Exactly. She strongly advocates tracking key metrics, but aiming for optimal ranges, not just normal.
Like what kind of numbers?
For fasting glucose, aim for 70, 85 milli-GDL, much tighter than the standard under 100. Fasting insulin. Under 6 cm/ml, way below the normal, which can go up to 25.
Wow, under 6 is low.
It is, but it indicates excellent insulin sensitivity. Triglycerides under 70 milli-GDL, not just under 150. High HDL, like in the 80s. Blood pressure around 1160. Even waist circumference matters.
And why are these optimal numbers so important? Why isn't normal good enough?
Because these tighter ranges are far better predictors of your future risk for things like diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, even depression. Normal often just means average, and average right now isn't metabolically healthy. Optimal is the goal for true vitality and longevity.
Okay. And then there are wearables for real-time feedback.
Yes. Wearables like continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, sleep trackers, step counters, they turn these abstract numbers into immediate personal insights. They're like getting a live feed from your body.
She gave that example of Emily, right?
Yeah.
The pregnant woman.
Yeah, great example. Emily was at risk for gestational diabetes. A CGM showed her that oatmeal, often seen as healthy, spiked her blood sugar way up to 140.
Whoa.
But eggs for breakfast kept her stable around 90. That direct feedback allowed her to adjust her diet perfectly, manage her blood sugar without drugs, just based on her own body's response.
That's personalized medicine right there.
Exactly, tailoring things based on your unique biology in real time.
But beyond all the numbers in tech, what does she say is the most important biomarker?
Yes. Ultimately, she brings it back to the simplest yet most profound one. How are you feeling?
Just how you feel.
Yeah. Are you waking up feeling genuinely energetic? Is your mind clear? Do you feel joyful? The absence of symptoms, that feeling of true vitality, that's the ultimate sign of optimal metabolic function.
So we need to actually pay attention to that.
We do. She encourages us to consciously slow down, tune out the noise, what she calls the distraction industrial complex, and really listen to our bodies. They're constantly sending signals if we just create the space to hear them.
So wrapping this up, the core message of good energy feels incredibly hopeful. It's saying health isn't really that complicated. It's not about endless specialists.
Not fundamentally. It's about empowering your cells, giving them the right inputs, good food, light, movement, rest, safety signals, and creating the conditions where they can just naturally thrive.
And her own journey really underscores that the current system sometimes benefits from our confusion, our dependence on just managing symptoms.
Sadly, yes. But her message flips that. It says health is actually simpler, more within our own control than we've been led to believe. Taking charge of our own metabolic health, guided by our body's feedback, that's the real revolution.
So the invitation to you listening is to explore these ideas. Think about what Dr. Means is saying, and maybe ask yourself, what's just one small thing you could shift today, right now, in your daily routine?
Yeah, just one thing to invite a little more good energy into your life.
Maybe it's stepping outside for those first few minutes of morning light. Maybe swapping one processed snack for some nuts or fruit. Small steps consistently taken can really add up.
They really can.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Dr. Casey Means' Good Energy. We hope it helps you feel more informed and, more importantly, empowered about your own health journey.